So hey guys, welcome to the Warframe video, and today I want to talk a little bit about the Naramon focus school, more specifically the Shadow Step passive, which grants you 5 to 10 seconds of invisibility when you score a critical strike with a melee weapon. Now, the difference between the Shadow Step invisibility and Loki's invisibility, for example, is that the Naramon invisibility or the Shadow Step invisibility cannot be dispelled. You can freely run in and out of nullifier bubbles without it dropping off, and not even Stalker is capable of removing it with his dispel. So right now, the only way to lose the invisibility is if you straight up stop attacking enemies. And that's all thanks to the Blood Rush body count combo, which allows many melee weapons to reach 100 or even higher than 100% critical strike chance. This is often comboed with Volt or Volt Prime that is built for speed, so you have a lot of movement speed, so it's easier to get to enemies and sustain the invisibility, and it also gives you a lot of attack speed. And as you may imagine, this is incredibly powerful, especially if you have Blood Rush body count, which means after a while, once you build up your combo counter, you have 100% critical strike chance, which means you essentially have infinite invisibility that cannot be dispelled by any means. And on one hand, I really appreciate this because this is player driven, so as long as you're not doing dumb stuff, you are invisible and you can deal tons and tons of damage to anything, really. But on the other hand, for me personally, it makes it really boring, and I think I will go back to the Naramon focus school, which isn't as niche. This is a very niche focus school, or passive ability, because you can only do it with melee weapons and only certain melee weapons, and if you really want it to shine, you need to take a Warframe that also combos with it. I've been playing around with the Naramon focus school for a couple of weeks now, and I just don't find it fun at all. And it's because, well, you're invisible all the time. The enemies aren't even shooting at you, and while I enjoy running around with Loki and being invisible, I think I enjoy it far more than running around invisible thanks to Naramon, because I have to worry about my stealth running out and me successfully re-stealthing a while later. I am still fighting against the enemies. I have to position myself to re-stealth. Once it runs out, I can't be out in the open because that means I'm pretty much dead, and that's what makes it fun for me. What I think personally kills Naramon for me is that once I hit 100% critical strike chance with the Blood Rush body count combo, it feels like I'm playing a 3D cookie clicker. Because at that point, you're not really fighting the enemies, you're just running around from dude to dude and clicking on them. That's all you're doing. You can't even see your character doing cool combos with this. And it can be fairly annoying as well, because the enemies don't do anything thanks to their AI, because when an enemy spawns, he knows where you are and will run towards your location. But if you're invisible, you will notice that there is a certain radius around you where the enemy will stop and go, uh-oh, the Tenno is invisible, so I obviously can't see him, wink wink, so you will turn around and go, well, where could the Tenno be? And that's really annoying because they're no longer taking cover, they're not doing anything, they're just walking around like normal. And yeah, as I've said already, it feels like you're playing a 3D cookie clicker at that point. And if the RNG gods decide to not spawn a lot of enemies and all those enemies just disperse all over the map because they obviously can't see you, and you can lose your invisibility or even worse, your combo counter, or you're gonna run out of life support, and there is not much you can do about it at that point. Now, I don't think I've mentioned how powerful this is, because as long as you have a decent weapon and you can do damage to enemies, you're invisible, you continue getting life support, and you can do hours upon hours of survivals. But the cookie clickerness of this gets to me really fast, and I get bored after about 40 minutes. And with other Warframes, I'm willing to go much further. Even with Evara in Prowl with Redeemer, I was able to basically go as far as I could, which was about an hour and a half. But the lack of interaction with the enemies or lack of any kind of micromanagement, whether it is energy management or ability duration management, just kills it for me and makes it really boring. But then again, this is just my opinion, and I can see how this is fun for a lot of people and why people run it a lot. And it's not too hard to set up, at least at the basic level either. You can get to the Shadow Step passive ability after about 2 days of farming Naramon. So even though I personally don't like it, I would definitely recommend you try it out because you might really enjoy it. And that's pretty much it for the video, so I thank you very much for watching as always, and I'll see you next time. Bye bye.